Say the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Okay, now I'm gonna edit out all the things that preceded that, so it just opens in with you doing that, and you're gonna look like an absolute fool.
Well, you ass!
Yes.
Listen here, you little shit.
Yes, I am a little shit.
I'm gonna smack you for that.
No, don't smack my snoot.
I will smack your snoot.
No, don't smack my snoot.
You like it when I smack your snoot.
Yeah, I do, but don't smack my snoot. My snoot hurts.
I will smack your snoot and I will make it hurt.
It's all stuffed up because I has a cold.
Then I'm gonna knock all your snot loose when I bonk your snoot.
Oh, but Lizzie! Zane, Lizzie's being mean to me.
Oh, I noticed.
You're just gonna do nothing about it? Oh, fine. I see how it is.
He can't. That's kink shaming.
Anyway, speaking of weird ladies with very obvious and weird kinks, how did everyone like the second season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil?
This is my new favorite season out of the 2 seasons.
I gotta say it had a lot more highs, but it also had a lot more lows.
What do you mean?
Well, the first one was a very balanced, like, 8, consistent 8 across the board. This one kind of wavered between a 9 and a 7. I mean, I like Star being adorable. I like Star very obviously crushing on Marco. I like Ludo. I fucking hate Toffee.
I really like the development to Moon, though, and learning about all the other princesses.
Yeah, Ludo's development is like I was afraid when I was watching the first season of this show. I was afraid Ludo was just going to be that villain that everyone beats up like constantly. It is never really a threat to anything. He's just there to be the punching bag of the show.
Jack Spicer.
And lo and behold, that's what he became.
Yeah, that's what he became, but like at the very start of this season, we had Ludo in the Wild, which is like one of my... If I had to make a list of my favorite episodes of the show, that one would rank pretty high. I loved that episode because it beat some level of competence into Ludo.
Yeah. I was very disappointed after all this time, like sort of exploring Ludo as a side project, and we just like sort of saw him going on his own adventures. He took the book, he started learning from Glossaric, and then we just replaced him with Toffee.
I mean, I'm with you. I don't think Toffee is a very interesting villain, like at all. But at the same time, I'm not as mad about Toffee taking over as I think I would have been if they didn't make Ludo sort of this sympathetic... He's obviously been getting his butt kicked all his life, even before the show. He obviously has some family issues, particularly with his father. They just, close to the end of the season, they just laid on all of this. Ludo's had a crappy life. He's never had anyone believe in him. And I'm just like... I don't really want him to be the villain anymore. I kind of want him to get help now.
See, I'm kind of thinking back to Avatar, as I always do, and I think back to when Zuko got ousted as an antagonist in favor of Azula. Of course, the difference between Azula and Toffee is that Azula has, actual character and personality and a voice actor who doesn't sound like they're absolutely bored with everything they do. It's just, yeah, I like all this interesting stuff with Ludo. But it's just, it's gone now. Like, it's gone. Like, Toffee's taken over his body, so we have a repeat of season 1. We have a repeat of season 1, where Ludo just gets ousted by Toffee toward the very end, and now we gotta deal with Toffee as an antagonist, but probably for longer than we had before. And I'm just sat here thinking, oh my god, I just don't care. Toffee is so boring. He has no actual presence. He's just calculating, and he plans, and he's a meticulous planner, and fucking Christ, this is a trait shared by 80,000 fucking villains. I'm sick of the planning and guile in place of actual character. Stop trying to make Toffee interesting, guys. He's not interesting. He's like the one thing dragging this whole damn show down, aside from Ponyhead's voice acting.
I'd say Ponyhead in general, but...
Well, I mean, I would probably like Ponyhead a lot more if she wasn't in a constant state of, girl! I hate that dialect. I absolutely hate it. It is murder on the ears, and I never want to hear it spoken on any kind of broadcast ever again.
Yeah, when Ponyhead first appeared and she started talking in that voice, my immediate reaction was, oh, I'm gonna hate you. But Toffee, I honestly feel you're right, he isn't interesting, but that's only because we've only ever seen him like in his cold, calculating form. When we saw the tapestry of him versus Queen Moon. I think the episode was Into the Wand. There was a tapestry of Toffee and Queen Moon fighting, and him getting his finger blown off. And he's not decked out in his suit there. He's actually decked out in like battle armor and shit. And I'm thinking, was he always cold and calculating? Did he have some sort of interesting backstory that we're just not getting? Was there anything interesting to him?
Yeah, that's ultimately the problem, is that they really want you to believe that Toffee is threatening. But the thing that made Ludo so much fun is that he wasn't so much threatening, he was just enjoyable. He was like what ideally Maleficent would have been. It's like, first the wand, and then the universe, and then... Actually, the universe should do it. And that was fun. Ludo was a lot of fun. He failed a lot, but he failed in such a fun and spectacular way. I mean, even his exit in season 1 was awesome. It's like, where's your wand? It's destroyed. Destroyed? We are no longer friends.
We never were friends.
Right, and he just gets thrown into a portal, and it was great. Ludo's a lot of fun. Toffee's just a bore.
I feel like the thing about Toffee is that, yeah, he's not a very interesting villain, but a lot of like growth and progression seems to happen as a result of his actions. Like he gets Star to destroy the wand at the end of season 1, and now throughout season 2, we've got Star trying to regain control over this magic after her wand's been damaged, and we've got Ludo actually getting some competence beaten into him. So, from a story perspective, Toffee's basically played his part.
Yeah, and so, but then they brought him back after his part was played. Toffee's not all that interesting, but the show treats him like he's this big threat that everyone needs to prepare for. The tapestry with Moon laser blasting Toffee's finger off, that didn't have to be Toffee. They just made him that. They just made it Toffee because, I don't know, the writing team really likes Toffee, and they really want us to care about Toffee. It's like Blizzard with like half the systems they make. You will care about this! We're very proud of this, and therefore you will be too! Oh, by the way, Ponyhead's voice actress is Jenny Slate, and I was surprised because the way she speaks, I could have sworn it was Cree Summer. Because Cree Summer has precisely one voice that she uses all the time.
Lizzie's been quiet.
Lizzie's been very quiet. Lizzie?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
I was talking that whole time. I thought you guys were just ignoring me.
No. If you look at Discord, you will see your thing light up if your microphone's active. Yeah, I think the noise gate is up just a bit too high.
Yeah, I turned it down and that's what fixed it. Maybe I was just talking really softly.
Anyway, you were saying?
I was saying that I don't think Toffee's character is so much as important as it is the significance behind him. Like, we got to see so much come from everyone else from bouncing off of Toffee. Like, Moon is all of a sudden way more interesting than just the strict, overbearing, but well-meaning mother. Like, she's actually a badass, and she still got it after her first fight with him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We could have had all this without this piece of shit lizard. I mean, there's so many other ways they could have done all these cool things without involving this boring fucking lizard. And that's the big problem. It's like, it doesn't matter, like, what he does to drive the story, Toffee himself is boring. He is so boring. He's got flat voice acting. He's got a surprisingly cliche personality for a show this creative. And it's just fuck off. Like, fuck off, you insufferable lizard. That's it. That's all that really amounts to Toffee is just, yeah, you drive a lot of the story. Fuck off anyway. I mean, Star vs. the Forces of Evil was doing just fine without exploring any heavier subject matter. I mean, we didn't need, like, Toffee didn't have to be here. They could have done this a million other ways.
That's kind of what I was saying, that Toffee's more of a plot device to get other characters to grow and develop rather than an interesting character on his own.
Well, I figured that the serious subject matter is what made season 2 so much better for me, on top of just developing characters and relationships. Like, I was worried that the show was just going to be too much silliness without any real direction, especially because there were still elements of the story even in season 1, and now I feel like they're really starting to make something with it.
Well, one of the things I really liked about Star vs. the Forces of Evil was that it was just silly fun. It wasn't a series that really begged you to take it seriously like Steven Universe does. And, I mean, when I came into Star vs. the Forces of Evil already sick of Steven Universe's bullshit, I was just basically like, oh, thank God. Like, I watched the theme song. That, like, I first watched that and, like, that's it, I'm hooked. I was hooked on just the theme song alone. I was like, this is gonna be fun. When you saw that squid, so that worm just pop up and bare its fangs at Star and Marco, and then it's like, gonna have a good time, and then it started dancing and went all disco ball. That was fucking great. That was fucking awesome. And it's just, I mean, yeah, I guess heavier subject matter is cool and all, but I mean, if the trade-off is that we gotta deal with this fucker, ugh.
Well, I always thought it was interesting precisely because of how different Ludo was from everything else in the show. He's the one thing that doesn't fit, and nobody knows how to deal with him because of it.
You can make all the points of, well, actually, it's really interesting but it's just, he's boring. They could have done, like I said, they could have done it without Toffee. They could have done this with Toffee actually being an interesting character, but he's just still the same flat, monotone voice piece of shit.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I don't think he's boring.
Well, I'm the one with an online show, which means that my opinion is better than yours. Nah.
I don't think Ludo is... I mean, I don't think Toffee is entirely worthless, but I also think they could have done him a lot better. So I'm sort of half and half on him. I can understand why he's there, but it still doesn't stop me from thinking you could have been a lot more entertaining.
Well, anyway, so Toffee's been dominating more of this conversation than he rightfully deserved. Star's wand now spits spell magic.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a trope that Disney started. Everything lime green is evil. I mean, Maleficent basically lit herself on fire in green flames.
Yeah, what is the deal with her wand now? It kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. Where are they going with this?
I get the feeling that now that the wand is broken, it's starting to draw more on... For the sake of a power source, it's starting to draw more on Star's emotions. So when she's experiencing something negative like anger and hate or jealousy, the wand starts mirroring that. I mean, it obviously still works primarily off puppies and rainbows, but missing a star shard is kind of taking its toll on the thing.
I'm kind of wondering, like, it's supposed to be this super powerful object, but it broke pretty easily.
Well, I mean, it broke partially because Rapunzel... Rapunzel. Star literally set off its self-destruct thing. I mean, like, she literally told it to detonate itself.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little more confused of if it was supposed to self-destruct, how did it pull itself back together again? And if it was able to do that, why didn't it pull itself completely back together?
Magic.
Magic.
Magic. It's magic. I ain't gotta explain shit.
But yeah, the fell magic is either coming from Star's negative emotions or it still has a tie to its other half and it's drawing off of Ludo and Toffee.
I like the idea that basically Star's really stressed and so she just completely starts casting evil magic because that takes Toffee out of the equation entirely, which is a good thing. Let's see, there's the broken wand. There's Buttface McGee. What were some other major... Right. Fuck. The Starco's been going through a fucking storm. I mean, fucking Christ. I've never seen a series of a TV show cause shippers to go back and forth so many fucking times over such ridiculous bullshit. You can't ship Starco anymore because Marco's with Jackie. It's like, I can work around that. You can't ship Marco with anyone because he's mentally 30 and therefore it's basically pedophilia. Fuck off and go learn what words mean.
I'm just imagining all the MRAs who are going to use this as like, oh, is there a double standard now because Star's getting friend zoned, but everyone's like, oh, she should totally be with Marco anyway because fuck you.
No, it wouldn't really be a double standard because this is something we've been doing in shipping circles for like fucking ever. I mean, if Star was a real person, well, that's kind of the thing. Star's not actually whining about being quote unquote friend zoned.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like she's trying to basically work through everything, but she just can't do it. It's like, I'm trying to be cool about this, but I'm not cool about this.
Yeah, I honestly think it'd be very interesting if... Well, obviously the show wants Marco and Star to be together, but I think it'd be interesting if the show just said, no, we're not going to fall into that trap. Marco's going to be with Jackie.
Well, I think that is kind of what they're going for, because at the end of season 2, Star had that little bonding moment with Oscar, so it could very well end up that maybe she'll still have feelings for Marco, but she's like, you know what? He's with Jackie, he doesn't feel the same way, so I'm gonna not hang on to this and move on to someone else. I feel like...
How do you know he doesn't feel the same way?
He has a girlfriend!
That doesn't mean shit!
That's the other thing. I mean, it is pretty obvious as well that Marco has feelings for Star, but I do think it'd be a very mature message that if the show made it clear that Marco doesn't have to fall in love with Star. I mean...
No. You know what would be a really mature message? And I'm cutting you off because you're very clearly having trouble gathering your thoughts. You know what would be a very mature message? If they basically just said, you know what? Why don't we have both?
Because Western culture isn't ready for... that yet?
You know what? Western culture dealt with Archie dating both Betty and Veronica at the same time for like 60 years. I think we'll manage.
Yeah, possibly.
Hell, we could go extra progressive. Instead of it just be like Marco is dating both Star and Jackie, Marco, Star, and Jackie are just all dating each other. Because holy crap, did you see the way Star and Jackie were bonding in that one episode?
Oh, yeah.
Hell, Marco's basically ready to go. You know what? You guys just go to the concert without me.
Go on with what you were saying, Zane.
Lily was right. I had no idea where I was going with it.
Well, I think what you were going for was it would be a mature message for guys and girls to be like, okay, you know what? The friend zone's not a thing. Just because you like somebody doesn't mean that they're obliged to return the feelings or go out with you. And if they want to go out with someone else, then, you know, it might still be disappointing. Like, it's still understandable for you to be upset that the person you like doesn't like you back and you're not going to be with them, but it's far healthier for you to let them go on with what they want to do and maybe find someone else. And I feel like the fact that they're doing this with a female character would eliminate a lot of MRAs complaining, or little 14-year-old boys who are probably going through similar things. so that they don't end up becoming MRAs and guys who complain online about the friend zone.
I don't know. I think I think trying to avoid idiots behaving like idiots is not a very good reason to do anything, really. I mean, if they don't do that, and then those idiots end up going and complaining, it's not going to be Star vs. the Forces of Evil's fault. It's going to be their fault.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it could be for people who haven't yet gone full stupid. And if anybody tries to tell them, like, oh yeah, the friend zone is real, like, it happens to guys all the time. Like, okay, well, going by your definition of the friend zone, here's a girl who went through something similar and she dealt with it in a completely different and healthier manner and she turned out fine, so that seems like the better option than being bitter and stupid online. My point is that I really hope it ends up being Jackie and Star and Oscar and...
Jackie and Star, yes, all right. I am so on board with that. It's a great idea. It's a great idea, Lizzie. You've had a wonderful idea.
You were not listening to a word I said until I made that slip up.
I did listen to, I was listening to the words you were saying. You were saying basically the same thing that Zane was saying. Hence why I had that response.
Except you didn't cut me off.
Well, she was right to cut me off before I mumbled my way
Zane
into a pitfall.
Zane stammers a lot when he's got like the first half of a sentence, but he doesn't have the second half, and he's kind of a point you've got to notice that's like, dude, just you drop the ice cream, 5-second rule ain't gonna help you. Let's just go get another one. But yeah, Star and Jackie. But you know what? I honestly hope they don't do that. I honestly hope they just go ahead with the Starco because it's cute, and it's very cute. I mean, I like Jackie. I like Jackie as a character, and it'll be a crying shame when we gotta shove her into a ravine.
It's a high school romance. I mean, I've seen enough of them in real life to know that they won't last very long. But Star's a magical princess from another dimension. It's just, she doesn't count.
All she has to do is arrange a marriage.
Or basically just bullshit a situation where she's like, yeah, it turns out if I don't get married, I can't be queen. But you don't want to be queen anyway, Star. Fuck.
Starco is probably what's gonna happen anyway.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about that Lily reminded me of is I really like the fact that, like, you see it in cartoons a lot where the kind of nerdy guy has a crush on the most popular or coolest girl in school, but she always ends up being mean. In this one, Jackie is legitimately cool and relaxed and a nice person, and you actually end up wanting them to be together, not just because, oh, this is Marco's dream girl. She's actually somebody you could see Marco having a happy relationship with. You're like, yeah, you know what? This is good. I have no reason to object to this except for Starco.
That's been my point the entire, for basically both this and Toffee. It's like, yes, I get it. Objectively, it makes perfect sense. However, personally, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I want them to do the fun thing. All right? I want them to, that's what I want them to do. I want them to sacrifice the pretensions toward good storytelling in the name of having more fun.
Well, that just makes you sound bitter.
You know what? I'm honestly sick of shows that beg you to take them seriously, and I just want to have some fun. I mean, that was my big praise of Star vs. the Force of Evil. It's fun. It's just fun. It's happy. It wants to put a smile on your face and wants to make you let's just have fun with the giggling narwhal blasts.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And now it wants to be serious, and I'm just like, ugh. We have enough of this. Why?
I think that's just the way cartoons are going these days, is that some of them will start off silly, they'll start off as slice of life, and then they'll evolve into, we want to have a long-running story. We want to have an arc.
Yeah, but I mean, think about... And once again, this comes back to Avatar. Think about what Avatar did. It was silly, and it had its heavy moments, but it never really gradually got heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. Even when you're in the final battle against the Fire Lord, you still got Toph and Sokka taking over the airships and being dumb and silly. They struck that balance of telling like a story with heavy themes, but never once abandoning their premise. And unfortunately, it seems a lot of cartoons will basically start out really silly, and then they just get gradually more and more depressing as time goes on. And it's like we saw this with Steven Universe, and it's just.
Wait, I thought that Star vs. the Force of Evil had struck that balance as well, because even in the season 2 finale, when all this serious and cool stuff was happening with Ludo and Toffee and the council or whatever, it kept bouncing back to just teenagers being awkward and dumb.
Yeah, but that's not the same kind of fun as it was having before. I mean, okay, teenagers are being awkward. Yeah, okay, great, Disney. You think all teenagers are awkward when only some of them are. Fucking lovely. It's kind of like when I was talking about Steven's self-worth issues, his like unexplained self-worth issues, and some people are actually in the comments going, "Oh, well, that's just teenage angst." It's like, guys, teenagers are not angsty for no reason. I just got done saying this. I don't want this show to go this way. Like, that's the thing. I don't want it to go this route. I don't want it to try and take itself seriously. It's better when it's not doing that. We've got enough shows that take themselves so seriously. You can make all the arguments you want about why it's actually a good thing. I just don't care. I'm so bored of it. That's really the point. Is like I'm so bored of it, and I think I might be more bored of it than most because this is literally my job. But I've watched a lot of shows doing this job, and I'm absolutely sick of the very concept, and I just want them to not do it. Like being an open world sandbox. You
just want something that's just silly.
Yeah, that's really it. I just want a show that isn't trying to take itself seriously all the time. I want, or at the very least, if it is trying to take itself seriously, do the Kingdom Hearts thing where your story is so dumb and so insanely stupid that when you take yourself seriously, you amplify its own comedy value. But that's not really taking yourself seriously, that's just playing yourself straight.
Well, I'm going to be honest, I kind of prefer the direction that cartoons are going these days. Like, I actually wish My Little Pony would stop and do a season-long arc for a change.
Oh, wait, you mean like stop being episodic and actually go the Legend of Korra route?
Not the Legend of Korra route.
Of like one season just being one long continuous episode? Because that would be terrible. Like, that would be objectively shit. Because then you're in the problem of, if your season sucks, your whole damn if an episode sucks, your whole damn season sucks.
No, just what I would like is for one episode to continue for events in one episode to make a difference in the next episode. I mean, it doesn't have to be an entire season long episode.
You're basically, Zane, whether you realize it or not, what you're saying is, I want it to do this thing, but at the same time, I don't want it to do this thing. I mean, My Little Pony does that concept where events from previous episodes come up later on. It's just they don't come up in the very next episode and they continue on this pattern like for the whole season. It's just they'll have an event in one episode and then it'll come up a couple of episodes later because that's how the passage of time works. I mean, that's a relatively reasonable concept. I mean, like I said, it's what Avatar did.
Yeah, but I want more shows to do what Avatar did because Avatar was freaking amazing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that a lot of shows are trying to do what Avatar did, but they are not but at the same time, they don't quite understand what it was Avatar did. Avatar had an overarching story for the whole series, not the season. It was the whole series. And it was basically, and it was still in the episodic structure. Like, every episode still had its own 3-act structure, and it was just, we were consistently making progress toward the end goal with each one. But every now and again, you would have, because it was episodic, you would have really good diversions. I think, what was it called? The Southern Raiders? That was my favorite episode. And you wouldn't get that if it was completely serialized. The problem is a lot of cartoons are basically looking at the concept and just going, and they don't see that subtle nuance, and they just go completely serialized. A lot of TV shows are going serialized as opposed to episodic now that most television is consumed through Netflix binging, which is a horrible fucking habit to be in. And a lot of them are just poorer for it. It's really, really, really bad. And yeah, if you're most people who watch like maybe 1 or 2 shows, and that's about it, yeah, it doesn't seem like a problem. I've seen a lot of these, and it is a problem.
I think my issue might just be that I'm an otaku. I'm a freaking weeaboo. So I consume like one whole show like in a month. Like 2 shows, maybe. I like consuming 26 episode series that are standalone and episodes follow one right after the other.
I mean, hell, Harry Potter did things the way Avatar did. Like, those books really took advantage of the fact that they were taking place over an entire school year. So it was like you had your core plot storyline, but it was like, okay, so this part of it concluded in October, and they like Dumbledore would say to Harry, "We'll pick this up after Christmas." And then we did something for Christmas in the interim. And it was great. It was fucking wonderful. And yeah, if more shows did that, where they're just a little bit more structured, yeah, that'd be cool. But the problem is a lot of shows are just not doing that. They're doing things that are patently worse. They're being fully serialized. They're trying to have really massively high stakes when we all know for a fact that it's not going to come back. It's not going to come back. I've mixed up my goddamn words. It's not going to end badly. I think, like with Steven Universe, it's, oh my god, we're about to die. Oh, we're about to die. Oh my god, we're about to die. Like, yeah, let's take a break from that, and then that line will mean more to me, because I've been through this with cartoons before. We're not about to die.
Oh, I was just thinking of the Family Guy quote, like, look, we got 3 of the 5 main characters on this ship. I think we're gonna be fine.
Look, we got 4 or 5 of the main characters on this ship. I think we'll be fine.
I feel like this podcast is just turned into Lizzie and Zane sort of agree on this, and Lily's just not having it, so it just ends up being the 2 of us versus her in a way. We're just ganging up on her, and she's just like, okay, you guys are making sense, but shut up. I like my fun.
I honestly think that a lot of discourse would work among fandoms would work a lot better if people would just basically fucking admit that. I mean, because that's the core of most fan complaints about something. It's like, yes, objectively this makes a lot of sense. However, personally, I just don't fucking care. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, Lily, you are making a lot of good points, but I'm saying if they had the right people behind it, like they did with Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Samurai Jack, or any of these shows that have been really, really well received, it would this idea of episodes being continuous, this idea of silly shows tackling more serious matters, it would work if you had the right people doing it.
I suppose, but well, then you come into the obvious problem is that the same people who made Avatar: The Last Airbender are the people who made Legend of Korra and Voltron, and that's leading me to believe that maybe Avatar was a one-hit wonder. It was like lightning in a bottle, and are you really going to recreate it? I mean, look at what the very same creators are doing now.
Or it could just be an example of trying to strike gold twice with similar source material. It's like when you're trying to draw something that's very like exact to the reference photo, and it sort of looks like it, but not really, and the harder you try, the more it gets messed up. I feel like that's what happened with The Legend of Korra. They were trying too hard to be the next Last Airbender, and the harder they tried with that, the more it just wasn't going well, so maybe they should have just tried to say, okay, let's use our skills to make something else.
I think the biggest problem with The Legend of Korra comes from its intended audience, because when something's aimed at kids, it's going to be simple but palatable. When something's aimed at actual adults, it's going to be, relatively complex and nuanced. When something's aimed at teenagers or young adults, it is going to be absolute shit. And that's like not an inevitability. I'm examining patterns here. because it's like you want to be complex and nuanced, but you're making it for teenagers, so you got to simplify it down, but you don't simplify it so much that all the unfortunate implications just get kind of pissed away. So it's like you're halfway between complex and understandable villains and space Hitler on the moon, and so you end up with Richard Spencer. This is ultimately, I think, the problem with cartoons that really try to take themselves more seriously, is that they either massively overshoot or they just drain all the soul out of everything because, not all writers are great writers. I think it's one of the big things we've got to realize is that just because you're working professionally for Disney doesn't mean you're a great writer. Disney's made some shit. And,
have they?
And if somebody who likes to write edgy fanfiction gets a job writing edgy fanfiction, they're gonna write edgy fanfiction.
The big problem seems to be that people from opposing companies, and even in the same company, are trying to compete with each other by doing this, trying to emulate what Avatar: The Last Airbender did. They're trying to create a story that can be silly, but tackle serious subject matter.
And it is worth pointing out that Avatar was never appreciated in its heyday. It became a cult classic years later.
Oh no. Like by the end of it, it was huge. Like people were loving it and doing all this fandom stuff that we do now back then.
Oh yeah. I know that. I mean, everything has its fandoms and its fan rages, but I mean, it between, I think it was sometime about maybe a year or so before Legend of Korra was even announced, it fucking exploded. And that's why there was such a long time between Avatar finishing and Korra starting, is because its popularity just completely exploded, and DVDs started selling by the truckloads, and Nickelodeon thought, all right, let's bring this back.
I personally felt like leading up to the last episode that there was a lot of hype behind it. There was a lot of sites going on about, oh look, Sozin's Comet's coming out.
I think what pissed me off about Sozin's Comet was that it was a fucking 4-parter. And of course, I had to watch these cartoons on YTV, which never aired anything sequentially. So if it was to be continued, fuck, I'm never gonna see the end of this now. I'd look at the guide that came with the cable back. It's to be continued. What's next week? The Great Divide? Why? I like The Great Divide, but come on.
Yeah, that's why I bought the DVDs.
Avatar was a roller coaster. It's for the same reason I don't watch My Little Pony on local broadcasts, because I'd have to watch it on Treehouse, which doesn't air anything in order. Ugh. So I have to download I pirate all the footage I get.
Gasp. Choke.
If I'm not torrenting it, I'm just ripping it from Kiss Cartoon. You ever sat there and frapsed an entire TV episode?
Nope. And I don't plan to.
I mean, look, if Star vs. the Force of Evil can do this well, and it can actually make something that's, good, good in terms of storytelling and actually engaging to watch, then great. But anyone with even the slightest grasp of pattern recognition will know that historically, when shows try and go down this route, they always fuck it up, and they always just faceplant into a cliff.
Now, to be fair, all the serious episodes that have happened in season 2 thus far, I don't see a bad one amongst them. I
haven't seen a truly bad episode yet, but I've seen a lot of very bad elements just creeping in. And it's I'm just brush back the blinds and I can just see crap, there's a storm blowing in. And I'm just praying that it goes around my house. I mean, this is kind of why I haven't really done a glass of water on this aspect of Star versus the Forces of Evil, aside from, well, I suppose if you count Sans Lessons? Because this is all apprehensive shit. This is all just stuff I've been worried about, but it hasn't actually happened yet, so I can't really do videos about this.
Until today.
Well, I mean, the podcast, I can basically talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about on the podcasts. I have 100% control over it. I decide what we talk about. I am queen here!
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm the queen.
No, I'm the queen.
No, I'm the queen. But I'm the puppet queen.
Exactly. You get to believe that...
My character is literally a puppet.
Yes, you get to believe that you're a queen. But I'm the queen's queen, so I am actually the queen.
I'm the Fulgencio Batista of this channel.
The what?
Fulgencio Batista. He was the puppet leader of Cuba before Fidel Castro led a revolution. He was a puppet of the U.S. government. He's the reason Fidel Castro led a revolution.
Everyone loves puppets.
Oh, I assure you, not everybody likes puppets.
Okay, so, let's see. Wrapping up with all the little things that didn't warrant such massive, serious discussion. Hekapoo.
She's so cool.
I like her.
I liked her. I liked her too. I mean, it was kind of weird how she basically spent her entire last scene giving Marco unending bedroom eyes. But, well, then again, Marco had hit a growth spurt. I mean, Star was doing the same thing.
Abs.
Yeah.
Abs.
Yeah, I think next week is what is it? Baby. The week after is when that episode in a minute comes up, and I actually have a joke of Star, you're leaving a puddle on the floor.
Ew.
That's the second time I've done that. I did that on Lois and Clark month last year.
Yeah, but that was with Lois.
What's the difference? They're basically the same fucking character.
Star's 14.
Yeah, 14-year-olds leave puddles, Lizzie.
Yeah, but we don't talk about it.
It is not a crime to make extremely inappropriate jokes. It's just very, very frowned upon.
Moving on. That final scene between Hekapoo and Marco where he finally finds the real herd. And, like, the two of them are just, like, kind of flirting, but kind of not. They've kind of built this love-hate relationship over the years.
This is the part where you blow out my flame. I didn't know I could stretch that far.
Gosh. She just spent, like, 14 years getting all hot and bothered. And he's just trying to cool her off.
Of course she was hot and bothered. She had fire literally over her head.
4-way relationship between, like, when he's in this dimension, he's dating Jackie and Star. He goes in the other dimension and he becomes a 30-year-old man again and goes out with Hekapoo.
You know, I'm just starting to realize that Marco is basically, like, attracting his own harem. I mean, Jana's been stalking him as well. I mean, that's 4 women now.
And everyone at St. O's.
Oh yeah, everyone at St. O's practically worships him, but you know, they think he is a her. But then again, it's another dimension. They might be into that.
And you know, they could be right.
Yeah, they could be right. Yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, right. Moving on from Marco practically drowning in women is we had the return of Miss Heinous. And basically, I think the thing I really liked about that episode is the fact that she spends the whole episode referring to Marco as Princess Marco, and look what she's done. Look at the horrible things that her words have created, and nobody corrected her. Not even Marco's parents corrected her.
Okay, can I just say that they were trying to be very, very reasonable with someone who was threatening their child? That was a little weird.
Well, they probably thought she was crazy anyway.
I want to disembowel her. Well, you can't disembowel Marco.
If I had a kid, like God forbid, if I had a kid and someone threatened him or her with threats of violence and disembowelment, they'd probably be leaving my house with multiple compound fractures.
It's like, oh, you want to kill our son? Yes. All right, Star, Marco, go back to what you were doing. And they just narwhal blast her out of the house.
But it really hasn't been until like that episode. The theory of Marco being trans is like, maybe not. Then at this episode, I was like, okay, yeah, there's some merit behind that theory.
I was more along the lines of, so Disney's probably aware of this theory by now, and either they're working up to it or they're at least putting in little nods to it for the fans.
Oh, they said a while back. I think it was some of the writers actually said a while back. It's like, yes, we've heard this theory. We didn't intend that, but we like it. And so I think they're basically going to go out of their way not to avoid putting the kibosh on it. Even if they can't confirm it, they're basically gonna make sure the door is constantly left open for it, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
It's kind of like the end of It's kind of like the end of that episode where Marco's like, yeah, I'm so against this. And it's totally not because this person's after my family. The writer's like, yeah, we're so not confirming it. And it's not just because our bosses won't allow it.
I think Disney's been making. I think Disney's making some baby steps. I mean, you had those two guys kissing in the background of one episode.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that until it was pointed out. I'm like, huh, that's cool.
And there was that. There was that guy. There was that. Fuck. What was it? He ran the shop in Frozen. Hoo hoo. Because I'm a blowout. Yeah, and it's like he pointed to his family. Hoo hoo. And then it just zooms in to a bunch of relatively young girls and one other grown man who are in the sauna. And so Disney has like all these really little quick fire blinking you'll miss it moments to basically just go like, okay, anything happen? Anything happen? No? All right. Cause fuck, what was that movie? I think it was Paranorman.
Oh, yeah.
Where it had like a very passing scene. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna love my boyfriend. He's a total chick flick nut. And that made fucking articles. And not the good kind of articles.
Well, this actually isn't the first time, like in a recent cartoon, that Disney has done this sort of thing. Like at the end of Gravity Falls, they confirmed that the two police officers who work together are gay.
They did?
Yeah. At least that's what people keep telling me. And I went back to that finale and I watched that scene and I'm like, yeah, they kind of did confirm that.
It's been a while, so I don't remember. That is cool though.
Disney's inching further and further into a very cold pool, as opposed to, say, Steven Universe, which is going into the cold pool in about 85 million wetsuits. It's like, yes, it's a gay relationship, but we cleverly hide it behind the fact that they're genderless alien rocks. And Disney's just like, fuck it, make two guys kiss.
Yeah, I'm far more on board with, I do like how Steven Universe is much more open and explicit about having LGBT themes and treating them as having similar or the same problems as a heterosexual relationship, and just not drawing attention to the fact that a bunch of characters are LGBT.
Yeah, it's called no big deal representation.
Yes. But I do like how Disney is very slowly integrating it into themselves. It's kind of like the same reason why I like Dumbledore being gay, because he wasn't confirmed as gay until after the series was done, although you could see signs of it when it came to him and Grindelwald. So you fall in love with Dumbledore not knowing his sexuality. You just kind of assume that he is this old man Merlin-like wizard. He doesn't really do relationships, I guess. Like, what is his deal? We've been operating under the assumption that he has no deal. And then you find out he's gay, and you're like, oh, cool. That'll be great for kids who might be taught all these gay stereotypes, and here's a guy who's, I guess he's a little feminine, but he's not like a really archetypal gay character.
I mean, I can understand companies like Disney being apprehensive. I mean, if they rock the boat too much and piss off too many people, they can potentially go out of business. Especially considering...
Disney?
What? Yeah.
Disney going out of business?
They've been on the verge of bankruptcy about 4 different times in their life.
Yeah, but recently.
Oh yeah, no, not recently, but I mean, it's like, let's see, there was one time in the 40s, there was another time in the 70s, there was another time in the mid-2000s, it wasn't too long ago. So I understand Disney being apprehensive about those kind of things but I do appreciate that they're basically just kind of they're very quickly tapping the burner to see if it burns them. It's like you can see they want to do it, but you know they do have. I mean, I do understand that they have to be concerned about their bottom line for a reason.
honestly, Disney's so ubiquitous with the culture right now that if any company felt safe about handling this topic, it would be Disney.
Well, that's the thing. Disney doesn't feel safe about it. So think about what that says about the potential cannibalistic viciousness of American conservatives.
Yeah, I much more respect Disney for being like, okay, yeah, we really want to do this. We're just not sure that we can while still looking out for our business, than companies who are like, oh, yeah, we're not going to have representation like this because fuck you.
Yeah. I get the feeling if somebody were to ask Disney why they've been so hesitant about LGBT representation, you wouldn't be fed a line of crap. Like, if you ask someone from Disney that, they would just actually tell you, we're worried about our bottom line. That's pretty much it. We're worried about our bottom line and about rocking the boat too much.
It's like Amethyst. That's fair.
Yeah. It's like when Grand Theft GTA 5 didn't have any female characters in it, or playable female characters, and somebody actually asked why, and Rockstar's response was, that's just the story we're telling. That's just the story we wanted to tell. And Square gave the same answer regarding Final Fantasy 15, and a lot of people just respected that because we weren't fed a line of absolute bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Granted, I would like more female characters in gaming. That's why we had the whole Link be a lady discussion.
Oh yeah. But I get the feeling if you were to say if you were to, like, when people said that to Rockstar probably made a note. It's like, hey, next time let's do a different kind of story then.
Yeah, I do like that Disney knows that there's a risk that could affect their bottom line, but they're still like, okay, we're Disney. We have so many eyes on us. We have so many great opportunities for LGBT representation. And, like, if no one else is gonna do it, well, people can't ignore it when Disney does it, so we might as well at least try.
And I think one of the big things about it is that Disney has spent, like, the last 10 years now building up a lot of goodwill, so that it's like when Disney bought out Star Wars, and basically Star Wars was now owned by Disney, and the response from everyone was, "Oh yes!" Marvel was bought out by Disney, and look what they ended up making. They made look at the cinematic universe they made that is basically earning them billions and billions and billions.
It's earning them Game Buster. Both series.
They've made hit show after hit show after hit show, and so they built up so much goodwill. And so I think a lot of people will look at that and go, "It's like, yeah, Disney's gonna be, like, very slow moving on it, but when they do actually go and do it, it's gonna be awesome."
I really hope that that this goes well for them, that, like, they don't lose enough support from, like, more conservative backers, that they can still do this, they can be more explicit with it, because, my gosh, how disheartening would it be if a company like frickin' Disney, one of the most powerful animation, if not the most powerful animation company in the world, couldn't, I guess, afford having LGBT relationships. Like, how is any other network gonna look at this and say, well, if Disney can't do this, then why should we think that we can? I really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that would really just speak way too many volumes about the sheer bizarre power of, dipshit, ignorant rednecks.
I mean, I do think it helps that in this day and age, most people don't give a shit if you're gay or not. I mean, yeah, obviously there's a very large percentage that do and think it's a sin against God, you can't do that. But I think the majority of people are okay with homosexuality and same-sex marriage. So
the sheer the number of people who will look at that and vocally go, why are you gonna make a political statement, is extremely small compared to the number of people who will jump up at that statement and go, shut up, Incros.
Unless ratings actually go down after they after they do something like that, like on Star versus, unless ratings actually go down, Disney's going to look at that and say, well, we still made money off of this. We still made a large profit, even when we came out.
Basically, we're all just waiting for the day that Disney finally comes out of the closet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. I mean, like, this was a company that got started doing silly cartoons about princesses. Come on, Disney, come out of the closet already. That's horribly stereotypical, but I think I myself have earned enough goodwill that I can absorb that one. You are gay. Yes, you are gay. I hate to tell you, sweetheart, you are gay. Totally gay. You may have got it when you saw that pretty girl over there, or all that overcompensating has put you here. It isn't clear, but what we're certain of is you are gay. Yes, you are gay, not questioning, but flat out gay.
Yeah, bottom line is, Disney, we understand it. You're running a company here that a lot of people's careers rely on, so we can understand you being hesitant. And that just makes us respect that you're still, at least somewhat sticking your neck out because you understand that LGBT representation is not done enough and it's important. And you guys are taking it upon yourselves to do it, if not a bit slowly. So good on Disney.
However, at the same time, come out already. We know you and DreamWorks have been having a fling for decades. Just come out. We know you two secretly eloped.
It's okay. We love you.
It's okay. We love you. Just come on out, ladies. I don't know why, but whenever I have to, like, anthropomorphize companies, I always imagine them being ladies. Probably because everything's better with ladies.
Well, that would explain why we're two ladies in a relationship.
I think to close out on is who's seen Tangled Ever After?
I have only just heard about it recently, so...
Okay, it's on Kiss Cartoon. See it? We're gonna talk about it next time.
Okay.
Yeah, teaser.
We're gonna talk about how it's just so unbelievably adorable Rapunzel is.
Okay.
And at last I see the light. And it's... Fuck! The power's gone out again.